Wolves beating Chelsea by 2-1. It was a late winner for Wolves that gave them all 3 points and stopped Frank Lampard's team from going top of the table. Frank Leboeuf is with us. Frank, that's back-to-back defeats now for Chelsea. What went wrong today?
Well, if we go on top of the tinniest, because it seems to affect every big clubs right now, and we're going to talk about Man City after. But we saw that during the weekend where all the big teams, seem to be tired. But 2 points. 1 point is if they are tired, why coaches keep on changing only 2 players when they have the chance to 3 for 3 and keep on complaining about the fact they have only 3 changes. They can make only 3 changes. And also, I think, and we talked about that during the weekend, if at least you are having a bad day and you don't want, and you think that you cannot win, please try to not lose the game. We saw that Liverpool didn't lose. The two Manchester drew, and so they share points. But Chelsea lost because they wanted to win the last game, and they lost again today because they tried to win at the last minute. I want to see players like Thiago Silva and N'Golo Kante, Kovacic, who are players with experiences, to say, okay, we can't win today, so we don't lose. That's the main thing we have to do. So the last minute, I saw Kovacic, going forward and being too far away. Therefore, the counter-attack, and I don't know if it's Podence who got the ball, who gave it to Neto, but he wasn't in position. He should have stayed there. Or at least Silva and N'Golo Kante should have told him, you stay there, because at least if they don't score the goal, we draw. And that's the main thing. So I think they have to be more responsible for their acts. Of course, they can be tired, but at least with players that you have N'Golo Kante in the middle of the park, champion of the world. You should have leaders who can say, okay, today we were bad, so we don't lose the game, we draw.
That's what Lampard was saying after the game. We have to learn to grind out, to see out these sort of matches and not make stupid mistakes as they did at the end.
Well, first of all, it's recognizing what sort of level and performance you're putting together. And as players and as a team, you know full well when you're not playing well, when you're not comfortable, or where things are not easy for you out on the field. And so you're up 1-0. You know what you do? You start shifting everything towards the middle. And you just kind of, okay, get numbers behind the ball. We're going to close down spaces. We're going to force turnovers. If we get a chance to go on a counter, we'll go on a counter. If we get a set piece, we'll take advantage of the set piece. But other than that, we're going to keep everything in front of us. Instead, Chelsea goes on a sort of back and forth with Wolves. Eventually, Wolves comes back into the game, it's 1-1, and to the point that Frank is making. I don't mind that Chelsea, in general, not today in particular, but in general, if you're thinking about, okay, we're going to be title contenders, we're going to go for the win because this is the team that we want to be. But as it pertains to tonight's matchup, because of what I just said, recognizing the moment that you're not playing well, that it's not going well for you, that you're having difficulties defending, that the transition game is not working, and that whenever you go on the attack, you leave yourself exposed and vulnerable in the back, then this is a moment in which, for goodness sakes, you have to have some sort of presence on the field that says, people, get back behind the ball, we'll get our point, and get out of here. That lack of recognition from players on the field, and then that lack of communication coming from the silence as well. Because if you're Frank Lampard, you can point this out at the end of the game, but you can also say during the match to your players, 10 minutes to go, say, hey guys, you know what? Shut it down. Shut it down. We're going to keep everything in front of us. We'll take the point. It's just simply not working for us tonight. And recognizing that, both from the silence and on the field. And that nobody says anything until after the game, a little too late.
Frank? Kai Havertz is someone we've discussed a lot on the show. Once again, pretty anonymous in this tie.
Yeah, almost invisible. And that's, I touched the point, some weeks ago. And we heard Frank Lampard say, you have to give him times and times. But I don't know. It's something that I don't like is the way sometimes it feels like he's not there. That he's not trying to compensate, maybe a lack of confidence with, maybe a desire of being just a warrior. Showing us that, okay, I'm not good at the moment. I'm looking for, some stuff that I'm not getting in. But I'm going to fight for the club and not being like, invisible. That's what it is. We wondered, we shared texts during the game, and we wonder if he was on the field. That's the main thing. You can be bad. Werner didn't have a good game, but we saw him trying to get something at it. We don't see Havertz getting anything from there. So I'm very concerned about that guy, and I want to listen to Frank Lampard say, okay, we need more time. So maybe I don't know when, maybe Ali knows better than me, maybe at the end of the season we're going to say, okay, maybe next season he's going to do something. But I don't forget the price that Chelsea paid for that guy, and I know he's only 21, but we also see players who just arrived, didn't need much time to adapt, and being very influential. You know, like Alan, you know, going to Dortmund and scoring goals, you know, immediately.
Yeah.
So I think it's as difficult, you know, as difficult as it is to adapt to England or Germany. So it's not. I don't understand what Havertz is doing right now, but I want an answer.
Not only is he non-existent, when he gets the ball, what you see from him is that he can't wait to get rid of the ball as quickly as he possibly can.
Is he been playing in the wrong role? Is that the issue? Because he's in number 10, yeah? That's his best role.
Well, yes, but even if you're being played in the wrong role, when you have the possession of the ball, in whatever area of the field you are, you can still see when a player is a player. When you can still see when a guy has that talent and it looks to combine. When he gets the ball now, it's like one touch and backwards,
right.
2 touches sideways. You never do see him kind of facing up and say, hey, let me take somebody on.
How do you change that? How do you instill that confidence in him?
And that is the tricky part, because once it starts going down this path, how do you reverse it? And to your question, I say confidence only comes from good performances. But good performances comes from confidence.
It's a sort of vicious circle.
It is a vicious circle, and one that you don't get out of, and it's not easy to get out of, because, as you just said, if you're playing me in the wrong position, then as a player, I also start looking for excuses and say, well, it couldn't possibly be me. Well, I'm being played out of position, and until I play in my position, I don't really feel comfortable enough to take on players or to find a pass or to really take a risk going forward. You don't see a player taking risk going forward, and when you don't see a player with that sort of talent not taking risk, is because 1, he's not confident, 2, he's not comfortable, and 3, he's just afraid of this moment and failing in this moment.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.